All set.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the August Workforce Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order. We have quorum with 6 members in chambers and 4 members on Zoom. Love to see that. Welcome, everybody. 7 members in chambers. Yeah. I think everyone here has met everyone at this point. Does anyone want to do some sort of introductions? Seeing no requests. Moving on to changes to the agenda. I don't have any. Moving on to chair's report. I also don't have one of those. Yeah, I also don't have one of those. Moving on, the thought I had was that at some point we're going to need to reschedule our November, December meetings, but that doesn't have to happen right now. We could, I think, do that next month with enough lead time to figure out everyone's schedules. Minutes approval then. Would someone like to move the minutes of the May 27th meeting? Irene moves. Rachel Graham seconds. Any comments, questions, edits? All right. Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. I'll go around in chambers first and then on Zoom. Iris.
Yes.
Samantha.
Yes.
Irene.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Rachel G.
Yes.
Rachel O.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Lillian.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. That is unanimous. I'm just now realizing we could have done both minutes at once, but I didn't do that. So would anyone like to move the minutes of June 22nd? Iris moves, Rachel O seconds. Comments, edits? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call again to approve those. Iris.
Yes.
Sam.
Yes.
Irene.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Rachel G.
Yes.
Rachel O.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Lillian.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. That is unanimous. All right, we are on to our reports and updates, which I am looking forward to. First up is our Chief Equity and Diversity Officer, Leon, with my new favorite hat.
Good morning, everyone, and Monday blessings. Today's CEDO update is going to be a little bit comprehensive, just because there's a lot of things going on. As you all know, I separate my update into 6 separate components. It will be department meetings, Operation OHR, which is Operation Office of Human Rights, affinity groups and colleague collaborations, professional development opportunities, moving the needle, and a new section that I just added because we will be ramping up some things. It's called Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. As you all know, we are in the throes of budget season. And so mainly all department head meetings have been put on pause until post-budget season. But last week I was able to have 2 department meetings. One was with myself, Haley Dalal, and Terry Carroll of Planning, and we discussed the Climate Action Plan. More to come on that. We just had our first initial meeting, and then we all have some updates and some homework to do. So I'll give you all a follow-up on that. And then I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Kurt Fritjofsen. He and I met last week as well. As you all know, he is the human who is replacing Courtney Horner. That was a great meeting and a great initial meeting because we're working on some other things behind the scenes with loaves and fishes and some different things going on. So that was a great meeting. And it was my first meeting in DeWitt Park. So we had a DeWitt Park meeting. What's up?
Oh, and can you share what Kurt's role is? For those who don't recall what Courtney's was. I don't remember their title, but roughly.
I could look up the title right now, but I'll get back to you with that. We'll circle back in a minute. I'll give you the Kurt's title. I should have put it in my thing. I normally would. I don't know why I didn't. As far as Operation OHR, as you all know, we have been going through the process of the talent acquisition process of finding a program manager for that office. I'm happy to say that on August 13th and 14th, Corsa met with the final 2 applicants, in which he made a final decision. A verbal and a written offer was sent out to the final candidate, and that was returned to us last Thursday on August 20th, a start date pending. And so I just want to take this moment to say thank you to all of the humans who participated in that panel. Manager of Talent Acquisition Engagement, Mr. Larry Workman, Deputy Commissioner of HR, Heather Buck, our legislators, Travis Brooks, Christy Bianconi, and Adam Vincent, and Human Rights Commissioner Peggy Greco. Looking forward to this human hitting the ground running, and I will keep you all updated. I don't think that the human will start before our next WDIC meeting, so I will have an update for you next month. Affinity groups and colleague collaborations. Employee Engagement Committee met. Thank you, Alman Dinger. Kurt's title is Transportation Planner 2. Employee Engagement Committee met last week in the conference room of Whole Health, which was great. It was a great meeting. Alman Dinger will fill you in on that. There are some changes on the horizon, which I'm really excited about. I also had my Unity and Shades Roundtable, which is hosted by Shelby Green at Tompkins Chamber. It is a quarterly meeting, so it meets 4 times a year. Last week we met at K House, which was amazing. And for those of you who don't know what Unity and Shades Roundtable is, it's a platform for Black, Indigenous, Latinx, and Asian professionals to cultivate relationships, explore topics relevant to their professional journeys, and advocate for representation within Tompkins County. YERT also met last week, Youth Employment Resource Team, and that is headed up by our own Mr. Christopher Spahn.
Thank you. I'll sign autographs after.
COG also met, County of Government also met last week. That was cool. We met with planning this time, which was amazing. And then we also had our Jedi meeting with our, none other than Rachel Graham. And our co-chair, Kevin McGuire, was on vacation last week, so we didn't get to see him, but he did leave a message for everyone. And I'll leave all that up to Rachel to discuss in her update. Moving on to professional development opportunities. Alman Dinger, this is where I start stepping on your toes a little bit. Our very own Samantha Almendinger, Training and Development Coordinator, has, I don't know how she does it. I don't know if you're all aware, she put together a professional development series that's coming up starting next month. It's called Leading Together, a development series for Tompkins County leaders, which will start on September 16th. I'll let her give you updates about that, but I do want to plug week 4 of that series, which is going to be happening on November 19th. Your very own CEDO will facilitate inclusive leadership and communication. So if you haven't signed up, and if you're not aware, you have to sign up for the entire series. You can't just sign up for one training. You have to sign up for the entire series. So I encourage you to reach out to Samantha if you need some more information. Sam, you said we had how many so far? Do we have an update on?
We still have 10 spots left.
We still have 10 spots left. So by the end of the week, I'm assuming that those will be gone. So if you want to be a part of it, I suggest you get on right now and sign up. That's it for professional development opportunities right now. As far as moving the needle, I'm going to step on your toes a little bit again. Samantha and I have been working with Aiden Locke, who is the Community Relations Manager over at Beginnings. Aiden will be doing a series of financial literacy seminars for us coming up again starting next month. There are 7 dates, 9 sessions, and 6 locations. We'll be at Scott Heyman, Highway and Facilities, Airport, HSB, Dewar, and Whole Health on Green Street. Also this week, if you all haven't realized it yet, me and Almendinger are the dynamic duo. We will be meeting with Carrie Whitmore at TC3 this week to talk about the SUNY Workforce Development Training Grant, which we hope will bring in additional funds for us to continue to do professional development trainings and other things as we close out the year and go into 2027. Moving on to equity, inclusion, and belonging, last section. As you all may or may not know, culture and morale is very important to me. Understanding and improving organizational culture, especially in the context of DEI, to uplift morale and support a positive work environment. Just so you all know, the RFP for development and implementation of the Workforce Climate Survey for Tompkins County has been submitted to the county administrator and the deputy administrators for editing and review. I'm certain that once budget season is over, I'll get an approval on that. So I'm anticipating that post-budget approval, and I'll keep you all posted as that becomes available. And that is it for the CEDO update. Questions, thoughts, concerns?
I have a question based on my privileged physical position next to you. Would you like to share anything about these posters that are the stack of posters you brought that look very cool?
Well, Mr. Spahn, please.
So I come from the Tompkins County Workforce Development Department, and before my time, people were part of JEDI, Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, the employee-driven equity group that is headed by our fearless leader, Rachel. We saved a lot of stuff from it, so we do like to hoard at times. So I have a bunch of old posters that reflect the values of our community, respect, or our county, respect, accountability. There's 2 others right now. I'm really bad at citing values on the spot.
1 or 2, so folks can see what you're talking.
But where's the one of Rachel? That'd be great to show. So it's on the YouTube. Here's one of Rachel. Accountability, and then a respect one. So I believe that
That's my constituent on the respect one, which has nothing to do with me, but I'm proud.
she helped deliver Rachel Graham's son, which is a huge deal.
Wow.
So that's your dollar at work. So anyways, I believe back in the day there was the integrity, accountability, respect, and equity values, some branding. So I believe that was part of it. Like there were these posters that were posted all throughout the county building. So we had a stack of them, and I'm cleaning out our office, and I thought, wow, these would be great, especially for Rachel, because there's one of her. And then Leon, our fearless CEDO, he was all excited about them too. So I think that it's important that we continue to prioritize these posters and things like this, because I think it's easy to go on the back burner when we're thinking about budgets and all these $50 million center of government building and a ton of these other things, but equity is really at our core. That's why I came to the county to these values. I literally saw them on the website, and I'm like, oh, that seems like a great place to work. And I think that's what I've been working towards building, being part of these groups and things like that. So I think it's important we continue to focus on these things because they're really important, and sometimes it's easy to take them for granted. Because we're so used to them at times, but a lot of them are slowly being taken away in one way or another through less staff or federal policy, and it's just different things like that. So I think it's important we just keep that in perspective, because there's always going to be someone else who's facing some issue that we no longer face. So I think that's what I love about this group is everyone has different perspectives, and we're all working towards to make it a better place for everyone. And you see that in the CEDO's work, the JEDI, what the legislature pushes for, and then what Almendinger is, or Sam, what she's doing, like the mental health survey, or like listening sessions, like all these great things that data that we're now getting that now exists. Because a lot of times it was just word of mouth, like, oh yeah, that's an issue, or this is an issue, but now we have like all the right people in place that are piecing those things together. And Leon's only been here for 6 months. It feels like it's been a year, but we're grateful to have you again. So following up on your updates, it's great to see him all over the place. Like, I know he's super busy. Like, he came to our youth employment resource team meeting, and then he's he had to leave that meeting right at 3 o'clock because he had another meeting, so he's setting up shop on his laptop in my office. Then he had another meeting after that, and then I don't know how the rest of the week went because I had off the next day. But he did that, and then that repeats the next day. So you are appreciated, Leon, for everything you're doing for the county, and I'm glad that you're here and that we have you.
Thank you, Mr. Spahn. And just for context, if you haven't been inside of the Office of Human Rights, or if you have, you know, there's a lot of white space. There's a lot of white walls in there. And so I felt that this was an opportunity for these not to say that they would go to waste, but just to make sure that we're, as Mrs. Spahn said, that we're continuing to highlight the things that we have, integrity, accountability, respect, and equity. So they will go to good use, Mrs. Spahn. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to throw in a thing and then throw it to Rachel, which is I'd sort of forgotten about these posters, and I love them. And I would love at some point to see like another run of them. Not to scare our like communications director and media production specialists who are doing a lot. So our values have been updated. Now there are 5. It's all the previous 4: equity, accountability, integrity, and respect that these posters are about. And we've added stewardship, so we have no stewardship posters. Rachel.
Thank you, Leon, for the update. I just have a quick question. Will the program manager for the Office of Human Rights, are they part of WDIC? Is that part of, or do they come to these meetings? How do they fit into, like which meetings or committees that they report to or
It's a great question.
be part of?
I don't think there is a formal.
Historically, they always did participate in WDIC, although the Human Rights Commission is their direct committee, unless that has changed structurally.
Yeah. Sorry, Rob, what was the first thing you said?
I said historically, the head of the Human Rights Office did come to these committees, even though structurally their primary one was the Human Rights Commission.
Okay, yeah. I know and Rob's been around here longer than I have. In the time that I was here, it happened that the director of human rights, the head of the office, was a member of WDIC and came to these meetings. The program manager is a role we haven't had before, so I don't think there are formal, like, committee memberships or anything other than the, like, you know, within the supervisory hierarchy there. I think who their direct supervisor is going to be our county administrator, right? But I think at least some sort of connection with WDIC would be good. The Department of Human Rights reports to the Health and Human Services Program Committee, so I would assume they would go there as the, like, sort of, I don't want to talk out of turn. I was going to say de facto department head, but maybe take that language with a shaker of salt, because I don't want to step on anyone's toes. But, you know, they will be the lead person who is a member of that department at this time.
And for the first couple of months, you can probably expect to see her and I together a lot, because I will be showing her the ropes and taking her to meetings and introducing her to all the folks that she may or may not need to hit the ground running with. So just prepare to see her in a couple of meetings for the first couple of months until she gets grounded and gets acclimated. So great question, Rachel.
Other questions or comments for our CEDO and his update? Okay. Seeing none, if there's no objections, I would actually like to go back to the previous step of introductions that we skipped. And the reason is we now have our, not to put you on the spot, our newest WDIC member, Kira Hill, on Zoom. And we have not all collectively met each other. Also, I would like to say that at this point, we have 100% member attendance at this meeting, which is rad. Yes, congrats to all of us. So I'm wondering if we could go back and do a quick round of introductions. Maybe if I'll go around in the same order as we were doing the roll call vote, except we'll include people who are not the committee members. Just say like your name, role, pronouns, and a brief, if you want, 1 or 2 sentences about what you want someone to know about you or what you're interested in and work on as pertains to WDIC. Because a lot of us do other things as well. I guess, Iris, are you willing to start?
Hi, I'm Iris Packman. I am a county legislator for District 3, which is in the city of Ithaca, Bell Sherman, and South Hill. She, her pronouns. I come out of the labor movement and worker equity issues, so this is definitely a topic area that matters a lot to me. Just pass it to Sam.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Samantha, or Sam Almendinger. I am the county's training and development coordinator. I work in HR. My pronouns are she, her. And I feel very passionately about the work of this committee because I feel very passionately about our work culture and how people feel supported at work. And this is a huge part of it, so.
Great. Hi, I'm Irene Weiser. I'm a legislator representing Lucky 13, District 13, which is the town of Caroline and Danby. I'm new to the legislature this year. And yeah, I too support the mission of this committee and the importance of it in supporting our staff, and really, you know, to me, it's just a microcosm of the bigger vision that I want to see for the whole county.
Hi, I'm Christopher Spahn, Executive Director of Tompkins County Workforce Development, he, him. I am involved in this committee because it shouldn't take 100 years to work towards a lot of stuff that we're working towards. So I like the group that's here, I like the team that's here, I like the mission, and I think that we can achieve a lot together. And then ideally, other counties in New York State copy us, and then states, and the whole thing just spins over. So if not us, then who else is going to do it? So I think it's really on us to kind of push these things forward, because if Tompkins County isn't doing it, then it's really not going to happen in some other areas.
Hello, welcome Kyra. My name's Rachel Graham. My daily role is Deputy County Clerk. I've been a member of WDIC, I think, since 2019. And a founding member of Team Jedi, currently co-chair of Team Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And I do this work because it's important, and I got involved after the 2018 climate survey just to, I was really energized by working to make Tompkins County a better place to work for employees and better service for our community.
Monday Blessings Hill, it's good to see you again in so many different spaces. You already know who I am, the CEDO. Pronouns are he, him. And I know that between all the department heads and the legislators and things of that nature and all the rest of the collaborators, everyone has a different idea on what they think my role is, but my role is simply to just make sure that humans feel loved and appreciated, respected, and validated when they show up at work every day, whatever that takes. And so I'm glad to have you here at WDIC, as well as at Jedi and all the other spaces that you and I collaborate in. So glad to have you.
I'm Veronica Pillar, pronouns they, them. I'm another county legislator representing District 2, which is where legislature chambers are, and a chunk of downtown, and a couple other city neighborhoods. I have been on WDIC the whole time I've been on the legislature, which this is my 5th year. It's my 4th and final year chairing it, because I always think it should be someone else's turn after that long. And one of the things I'm increasingly feeling is important here, or important to build up here, is a better, how to say, like, connection, understanding between the legislature, which is in a lot of ways the leadership and in some ways culture-setting body at this institution and the many humans of the workforce. I don't think we have enough like structure for connection and understanding of what people's experiences here working are and what the legislature can do to impact them in a good way. But I think this committee can do a piece of that, and especially when we have a bunch of the right people at the table, which we increasingly are. Do, have, whatever, verbs. Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Asland. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm also a county legislator for District 16. And I had wanted to be on this committee because I knew that, I support all of the, the goals of the committee, but also just that knowing that we would be making decisions on the legislature that would affect the all the employees of the county, and wanting to make sure that I was able to be present for and listen and hear kind of firsthand what people were experiencing and what they needed in order to feel the sense of love and belonging that Leon was talking about. And so, yeah.
I'm going to pass it to Jordan.
Hi, I am Jordan. My pronouns are she, her, and I am just the staffing clerk for here. So you primarily will get emails from me and the agendas.
You're not just anything.
Not just.
Okay.
There is more just about that, Jordan.
Every time.
Everybody was like, whoa.
No, none of this would run without her. And Jordan, thanks for being a good sport and
you're so
letting
welcome.
me make you introduce yourself each time we do this.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm very proud of everyone in this room for recognizing that she used the word just and being like, what?
Yeah.
You're not just anything, Cree. You are
Oh, thank you
the
very
Jordan
much.
Cree.
Thank you very much.
Yes. All right. I'm going to pass it to John. And then actually that for folks on Zoom, when you're done, can you pick another person to call on? Because you're not in a consistent order.
Thanks. John Halachik, Assistant Director of 911. I also serve as a board member for suicide prevention and crisis services in the county. And I also serve as a state appointee for surrogate decision-making committee for those individuals that cannot make end-of-life decisions or medical treatment decisions for themselves. I think this is my second year, coming to the end of my second year on WDIC. And as I had told many of the committee members when I first joined, some of the experiences that I've had in life as they relate to diversity, equity, and inclusion, I'm very passionate about individuals being treated equitably, regardless of the diverse walks of life that they come. So this very much felt like a natural fit, and glad to be here. I'll hand it off to Robert.
Hi, all. My name's Rob Brown. My pronouns are he, she, and they. Take your pick or mix and match. I am a community appointee to this committee, having served since the mid-late 20-teens. I am a constituent from North Lansing in my day job, where I'm joining you from today. I'm finance director for county affiliate Cornell Cooperative Extension of Tompkins County, and various other community volunteer roles. I really like what Chris was saying, because my motivations are somewhat similar as far as the if not Tompkins, who will, or why not Tompkins, we may as well, we should. I moved here and settled here from the Midwest at the beginning of the 1990s as we were passing groundbreaking human rights law here in Tompkins for sexual minorities, but also doing great work across the breadth of diversity and celebrating the richness of humankind. And while our zealousness for these things have waxed and waned over the decades since, I still think of my county as the place where we do that sort of thing. I intend to be a part of it. And I hope anybody who doesn't want to, we can bring them along. I'll pass off to Nick.
Great. Hi, my name is Nick Bennett. Pronouns are he, him. I am a faculty member at Ithaca College, but I've been on WDIC for about 4 years, and I was a communications specialist in Tompkins Workforce with the county before that. I'm a born and raised Tompkins County individual, and I've lived in other places, but being back here and working in Tompkins and living in the area, I feel really deeply connected to all of the work that we do here, and I try to just stay involved with these elements of the area and our community that really matter to me. So happy to be here. I'm one of the community members like Rob, and I think that's everything. I will pass to Dr. Jen Micah.
Hi, everybody. Jen Micah, she, her pronouns. I am a community member. I've been on this committee for a few years. I am currently the director of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion for the S.C. Johnson College of Business at Cornell. I teach a couple classes, and I try to get involved with the community as much as I can. And I'm also a member of IAAA. And I'll pass it on to Lisa.
You mean Lillian?
Or Lillian,
Yeah.
Sorry.
It does end up looking like the name Lisa.
Yeah,
It does.
Oh, okay. My name's Lillian Isaacs, and I'm the information security analyst at Tompkins County. Here, I'll see if I can get my camera on. And I like being on this committee because I've pretty much had to claw my way to positions like this in the past. In the county, it's one of the few places where it hasn't felt like that. I feel like I actually can live in this role and breathe in it. So I want to support that, especially throughout Tompkins County, because there are a lot of places where it isn't quite like that for women in my role. So that's why I'm here. And I will pass this on to, I'm not sure who's next. Kyra?
Hi, my name is Kyra. She, her pronouns. I am a licensed clinical therapist. I'm sorry if I'm cutting in and out. I just live out in the country, and Wi-Fi is,
We can hear you clearly, actually.
Oh, okay. It's like glitching on my end. So I work out in the community at Ithaca High School, Boynton Middle School, Village at Ithaca, and Southside. I think it's really important to get out into the community and make sure services for mental health are accessible. I went to school and specialized to be able to provide diversity and inclusion through mental health, and I am also helping facilitate and set up different hubs in Tompkins County and identifying where we could be stationed and make it more accessible for people who can't make it into Ithaca. So I spend a lot of time just trying to make sure that mental health services are, accessible, and that is why I wanted to join this community, because I heard that this was the place to be if that was something that was interesting to me. So I was directed this way, and I'm really excited and hopeful that I'll be able to bring something new to this committee. Thank you. And I think the last one may be Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan is secretly also sitting here in person.
Okay.
Yeah. And already Wenta may have cut out. She's the deputy clerk staffing this, so keeps both the Zoom and in person. Anyway, thank you, Kyra. Welcome. And I owe you a coffee sit down. I'm sorry for dropping that email chain. but I will pick it back up.
All right, I'll look for it. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody. I think we are now back to the Team Jedi update. Rachel Graham.
Yeah, so Jedi has met twice since WDIC last met. They met while I was on vacation July 17th, and we just met last Friday on August 21st. Between those two meetings, we gave a brief update on paid caregiver leave, where I linked the budget capital personnel meeting from July 13th. Amy from HR gave a presentation on the survey results that went out about parental caregiver leave. That starts at about the 21-minute mark of that July 13th budget capital personnel committee meeting, if anyone's interested in watching. We have been discussing maintaining continuity between meetings because we don't record our meetings and we don't type formal meeting minutes. So we just talked about what we want to capture so that no balls get dropped between meetings. And we talk about the importance of creating and keeping a protected space so that people feel like they can come and discuss what they want and need to discuss in those meetings, and having a confidentiality component there when needed. We are continuing to discuss traveling Jedi meetings, both for accessibility and recruitment. So we have been working on, thanks to Leon and Samantha for their input, putting together a 2-pager document so that we can share with departments where we're coming to meet and just to help recruit some folks to our committee. And we're looking at September 18th meeting at Whole Health on Green Street. October 16th will be, hopefully this is not confirmed yet, but we're working towards it, meeting in the Human Services Building in Beverly Livesey Conference Room. November 20th, we're looking at possibly being at Whole Health on Brown Road. And our December 18th meeting is looking like we'll be at Highway, where both DPW and facilities are located. We also talked about Jedi succession planning because there are currently 2 chairs of Jedi, myself and Kevin McGuire from Highway Department. Kevin has shared with us that he'll be retiring at the end of the year. And I am looking at stepping into a new role in my department come January, and I already feel like I'm starting to drop some Jedi balls, and I don't want to be a disservice to the committee, and I'm not stepping away from the committee, but I am going to step down as chair. So we're hoping to recruit some new chairs. And we are going to be starting a new reading and discussion group, which we are extending an invite to any WDIC members that would like to join us. We're going to be reading Fixing Fairness by Lily Zhang. Leon has already ordered 10 books.
Yes, shout out to Ann.
Shout out to Ann for placing that order, and they kept it local, ordering from Buffalo Street Books. And then at the end of each meeting, we always hold space for any Jedi members to bring any topics that they'd like to share. So we're looking for celebrations, wins, concerns, challenges of either folks' roles, department, or just life in general. And I think that covers it for Jedi updates for last 2 months.
Thank you. Questions and comments, starting with Leon.
I just wanted everyone to recognize that Rachel Graham is technically on vacation, and her commitment to WDIC has her showing up here today while she's on vacation. Now, normally I would not advocate for that, but I recognize the love that she has for WDIC, so I'll allow it today.
Thank you.
Chris.
Yeah, I just wanted to say Rachel has been a wonderful chair, fantastic, the best that we've ever seen. from everything you do, like from the agenda items on the thing, like every single one, you're double checking, like, should that be on there? Should that not be? Or do we put enough time for this? And then like having such a detailed agenda and plan, it leads to like really good discussions and things like that. And I know you're super hard on yourself on sometimes with some of these things, but like you do like a really good job and we all appreciate it. I know I've heard that from other colleagues too. So there's really not an opportunity for us to be like, oh, thank you so much, Rachel. We love you. Like, this is amazing. I think it's just seen through JEDI growing and like the productive conversations we have. So we're all really grateful for you. And we're glad you're going to hang around, even not as chair, but it's good that you'll still be there.
Thank you. It was a tough decision to make, but I felt like it's what's best for the whole group.
Yeah, Rachel, I admire your decision-making process. I wrote down what you said even. Also, shout out to Rachel for having been vice chair of this committee back in the day, including when previous chair before me had to step away from responsibilities faster than anyone hoped due to illness. And without Rachel, I don't know how we would have like picked up the reins and carried on, but we did.
Yeah.
Also, I love the idea of the traveling JEDI meetings. That's rad.
Yeah, yeah. We're excited about it.
Anything else for Team JEDI? Let's pass it to Samantha.
right.
We just, Samantha as co-chair of the Employee Engagement Committee, I have that right?
Yep.
I had asked her before this meeting if she was up for having a standing reporting spot on the WDIC agenda. And this, so it's not printed in this agenda, but it will be in the future. And thank you, yeah, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for
that.
being willing to do that, because I think, yeah, that could use a standing, a codified standing spot.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate it because a lot of the work that we're doing on the engagement committee kind of translates here too. So some of the changes that Leon was mentioning earlier, we talked at our last meeting about how the title of our committee has kind of shifted and changed, and we really wanted to kind of solidify it and make it, something that's really consistent and reflects our mission. We haven't fully decided 100% on this, but we've been talking about officially making it the Committee of Retention and Engagement, and adding retention back in because that's a huge key component of what we're doing, really. And thank you to John Halachek for his amazing suggestion of the acronym CORE, which is just, yeah. So yeah, we're working on solidifying it and coming up with a logo, which has been fun. So I enjoy being creative. So the work that we've been doing around the workforce wellness survey, the sessions have come to an end, and we ended up doing 12 in-person sessions with employees, and we did one virtual, which had great attendance. And with all of those, we ended up meeting with 205 employees through those sessions. And we got some great feedback, and it really gave us perspective into our next steps and what we want to see happen and what is important to people. So I just appreciate everybody who showed up to those and provided input, because it's really truly important to what we're doing moving forward. And then we are going to, I also did a presentation at this month's department head meeting. So the department heads that attended there and county administration, everybody got to see the report as well. And we had the suggestion at this meeting actually last time, thank you Irene, for recording a version as well. So I think you suggested doing the virtual and recording. So I have officially recorded a version, and it's not up yet. I have to send it to Chris. Thank you, in advance Chris for helping edit that. He did say he would be happy to do that. So once that's edited and out, I'll let everybody know, and we will post that recorded version plus the full report that I've been sharing on the county intranet page. So it'll be accessible to all employees.
And that's Chris Chichester.
Yes.
Media production specialist who is making all the camera changes happen and this available to be streamed. Not Chris Spahn.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I'm sorry to the
also
viewers
love
at
his
home.
work.
Yeah, that was not me. Chris also did give a thumbs up. I could see a thumb
good.
after you talked. So that wasn't caught on the stuff.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris Chichester.
You're welcome.
We are in the process of defining subcommittees. So after doing all of these sessions, it became really clear that there's a lot of work to be done in regards to how we want to move forward with wellness at the county. And we thought it would be better served by subgroups or subcommittees that are very focused on specific aspects of the work. And right now we have defined so far physical fitness activities. That was the number 2 thing wanted from future supports from employees. Mental health supports, a temporary in nature subgroup focused on community partnerships, which will partner with our benefits team in HR to kind of link us with community partners for discounts or different kinds of programs in the community. And then we have been talking about a group that's focused on the employee advancement and growth perspective of the survey. And so keep an eye out for those. We're kind of defining what those will look like, and they are open to any employee that is interested. So you don't have to be a member of our retention and engagement committee to be part of that, any of those groups. So if you're just really interested in one of these key aspects and you want to help with that work, please just reach out and, we'll connect you with the right group. We're looking forward to all of that because that's exciting. All right. I will leave my other updates for training news at the end, or do you want me to just kind of talk about it?
Okay, go for it now.
Okay. So just for some training news, Leon already mentioned the financial literacy classes with Aiden Locke, and I thank you to him again for being willing to do all of these. He agreed to do, there's 9 sessions all across the county, all at different times and locations. So shout out to him for being willing to do all of that. Those are just an hour long, and hopefully we'll have lots of people participating. So far I've seen lots of signups come through, so that's exciting.
And he's feeding us.
And
he's feeding us.
He's feeding us, and he's got a raffle for us at each one, which, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
We still have several offerings of both the de-escalation techniques for county employees and situational awareness and active shooter training for county employees. Those are scheduled now all through October because we had a situation where there was lots of interest and the sessions we did have planned filled up, and the facilitators for those were willing to do more, which I just want to give a huge thank you to Jamie Arnold, our countywide security manager, he's doing the situational awareness ones, and then Hillary Riley, our mental health clinic director, and Marley Brooks, one of our clinicians on the CARES team. And thank you for, being willing to share your knowledge and your experience with all of us, because they've all been great and really impactful. All right, that's all I've got.
Thank you. Yep. For questions are coming in, we've got Irene, then Chris, then Leon.
Sam, as you know, I attended the de-escalation training recently, and it was very, very, very well done. I just want to encourage our legislators to attend in addition to other staff. It was, for me, it was informative on 2 levels. One is I learned a lot, right? And I think it's skills that all of us need to know. But the other level that I learned on is what our employees are dealing with. And so important for us to understand that. And, you know, it brings me back to something we've certainly talked at length about before, which is the peer support program.
Yeah.
And just such a need for that. And, you know, I'm glad to hear that there's going to be other, looking at other kinds of programs for mental health support. But you know, it's really the stress that our employees are under is really, you know, important, and it was really eye-opening to learn. So thank you for doing it, and I'm glad that you got good turnout on the online, and that there will be a recorded version of that as well. It was all really good, and 200 people attending is pretty remarkable. That's 25% of our staff, which, right, which really talks again to how important the health and wellness piece is to our employees. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Here. I want to toss in seconded what Irene said about the de-escalation training, which I also went to, I guess, a different session than Irene did, so I probably heard different things, but both that was helpful, and even conversation with some other employees just afterwards, because we were coming from different spaces, but in a room all together, which doesn't often happen. Chris.
Yes, two things. First one's a statement. When coming up with the name CORE, John did that without AI, so that was literally just his. I think it was, yeah.
Thank you.
I was there. We all saw it. Like,
just his
it was
brilliant
crazy.
mind.
Like, he just shot it out.
Yep.
So I just wanted that for record, that like his greatness in his head. That was solid. And then, yeah, Sam's presentation was very well received at the department head meeting. It was a department head meeting that happened to be about the budget and budget cuts and uncomfortable things like that, and then they put her in after that, and people still paid attention and were engaged. And I've probably seen the presentation like 10 times, and I already liked it. I was like, yeah, this is great. I could keep watching this presentation. So I appreciate all your work on that, and like over the past couple of years, like you've done a lot. Because like before there, I think it's easy to forget like what we didn't have before, which was literally nothing, just like people talking about stuff, and she's really piecing this stuff together. So my question to you is like, do the legislators know about this report? Like, have you presented to them, or like, I don't know, I just feel like it's just so groundbreaking and important for people to recognize, because there are a lot of people who just are so discouraged, they didn't even bother taking it. Like I wasn't even gonna take it, but I'm on the committee, so I got to take it. So I'm sure there's like people who are just like, forget that, and I'm not going to do this. Like I hate the county or whatever. Like they're doing this and that. So I just trying to put it out there. I mean, there are people who are, especially with budget cuts and everything like that. So there's a large segment that would actually make the ratings even worse than what they are. So, and I even lowered myself. Some of my ratings weren't fully like far over to where they should have been. Like I was kind of like conservative on some. So I do think there's just still more of a need like beyond this data points. So I appreciate all that work you're doing. And again, like it's the first time she did this, like we've never done this. And to get that many people to fill out a freaking survey and come to a meeting virtually or drive up to wherever, up the hill, down the hill, I think that shows like a lot of like might and like importance of the work that you're doing. So thanks for the 5th time.
Yeah.
No, 6th time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the question you asked about, have I done it for the legislature yet? I haven't done it for the full legislature. We did have some legislators come to the sessions, either in person or virtually, a few of you here. So thank you for doing that and coming to those. I am happy to, if you know, there's a want for that, to come and present at some point. I will also have it virtually out, or not virtually, but the recorded version out there if you wanted to share it, or however it works, whatever's best. But I'm happy to come and talk too.
Yeah, I think we can, or I can email you and our chair and vice chair and ask if we can schedule that either at a legislature meeting or a budget, capital, and personnel committee meeting. Sure. I mean, I think full legislature hearing it would be good.
Yep.
I don't know what the schedules are,
okay.
But
I think it'd be great.
One of those. Leon, and then Iris.
I also have two comments for Almendinger. I think it's no secret, I've probably said it 1,000 times since I've been here in 6 months. I've been doing this work a long time. It's difficult to find a human that matches your energy, right? Humans always want to do stuff. They're like, oh, let's do this thing, let's do this thing. And then when I'm like, well, let's do this thing, they're like, oh, my goldfish is sick, grandma died. I gotta be in Timbuktu tomorrow at 5, right? I've never come to you with something and you're like, I can't do this thing, I just don't, right? Even when I'm like, I think you're taking on too many things at one time. You're like, nope, I got all of this.
Nope, I love it.
And you always have all of it, right? And so I'm very, very grateful for you. Yes, I could do my work without you, but I would rather not have to do my work without you. You're just an amazing human being, and the energy and the love that you have for the county. I don't think a lot of humans recognize all of the things that you do. Like, if they knew, their head would blow off. In that same note, I want to say thank you to Mr. Chichester, who is also the guru. To you as well. I could do my job without you. I would rather not have to. And again, he also is of the mindset of, I can do the thing, Leon, just whatever. And so I'm grateful to the both of you. So those are two things. Those are the two thanks that I want to give. The second thing I want to say is, and I'm going to take this on, this has nothing to do with Almendinger. If I'm annoying you about the annual training campaign, that's a good thing, because I'm going to continue to send out those reminder emails, because we are trying to get to 100% compliance. We're at what, 96 right now?
Yep.
We are at 96% compliance, and so thank you for everyone who's completed their spring training, which has expired. The deadline has come and gone. We are now in the summer training, which ends September 2nd, or is it the 6th?
September 12th.
Oh, 12th?
Yep.
See, Samantha gave y'all some extra days, because I would have said September 2nd, just so y'all could get it in on time. So if you're not aware, it's very important to complete those trainings, because we have to be in compliance. Sometimes some of those trainings represent some of the dollars that we receive on a federal level. We just never know. And so those are important. So it's not me just wanting to annoy you about trainings. I'm the compliance officer, so it's my job, literally. So there's that. And then the last thing I want to say, and I'm going to get off, Mr. Halachek, I've always seen you in a county shirt. I've never seen you in a different. That's a shirt. I love that. Is a shirt. Come on, Halachek.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Iris, and then I'll take a turn.
Yeah, thank you, Samantha. I was able to attend virtually. I appreciate you offering some of them virtually, because it is helpful. I do think having a presentation or at least a summary document shared with the legislature would be fantastic as we're heading into budget season, to call back to Chris's comments too. We had a first kind of budget department head legislator meeting last week, and the themes that were coming out that we're hearing from department heads were around employees feeling the stress of things, whether like physical facilities not being in the best shape, or, feeling like their workloads are really high. And so I think as much as we get some concrete data, but also some proactive ideas of things that could be done, that would be really helpful. It's front of mind right now for people. And also you had mentioned there was like an interest in, this is a different hat you're wearing, I think, around fitness and like employee engagement in that way. One area that I've identified that's obviously a major concern when we're thinking about budget and employee issues is our healthcare costs have gone up so exponentially, right? It's like 18% this year. We anticipate it'll be similar in the coming years. And so things that we can do to help people be healthier is a win-win, right? And so I'm thinking about, for example, like the center of government building that we've talked about. I know there's going to be like a shower and like bike lockups, and obviously we don't want to like do a whole redesign, but I do think if there's a huge amount of demand, for example, like more of a fitness facility or resources toward fitness, that would be good for us to know. Like, it would having like an actual gym space be really used? Like, is that something that there's a demand for, or like, something that, bringing in an instructor twice a week to teach a yoga class at lunchtime or something, like that kind of thing. I don't know if that's something that would be interesting, but again, as legislators wearing the hats around how we're spending our money and how we're getting the most bang for the limited amount of resources, that's helpful to know. And then I do think, sorry, what was the last thing? Yeah, I think that was mostly what I wanted to cover. So there's a tie-in to the healthcare costs, fitness, and then the employee wellness survey. I think all of that would be really great to package for the legislators. I think BCP is a good start, but I think it would be great if everybody had access. I know you have sent things around, but maybe if there's a way to like kind of condense it and make it like for the legislators as like a highlight, I think that would be great. The fact that there was so much engagement and then like the key issues that were identified, you know, we're hearing again, like we want to support morale and retention. So I think hitting that issue home is really important as we're looking at these tough budget decisions.
Yeah, thank you.
Rachel, and then me.
I have 3 things. I'll try to keep it brief. First, just shout out to Jamie for the situational awareness training, Hillary and Marley for the de-escalation training. Those were really great. I encourage all employees interested to sign up for those. And then I also just want to thank you, Sam. Also, I remember when you first started in this role and you did a tour around talking to departments, and you had asked what we thought about doing more internal trainings. And I was really hesitant to get on board with that. And I said, I think we need to be really, really careful, and we need an outside perspective. And having attended a bunch of these trainings where we have our in-house experts teaching, they've been amazing. And we have a lot of experts right here in Tompkins County. The leadership development course I took the last round, I think that was perfectly balanced between in-house experts and bringing in an outside consultant. And I think you chose really well which courses we can do in-house and which ones we need to bring an outside perspective in. So I just really appreciate you balancing that.
Yeah, thank you.
And I've been incredibly impressed, and we're so lucky to have you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Was that 2 things? No, 3rd thing. Okay. For these subcommittees.
Yeah.
How do you have a plan yet for how you're going to get that information out to all employees to get people interested to join?
Yeah, we haven't discussed a full plan yet, but I think we'll use any communication tool possible. So things like the HR newsletter, we're going to send it out via email. We'll put flyers around. Awesome. We'll probably post it in UKG as well. So yeah, any kind of, and then if there's meetings that I go to or that any of us go to that are on the committee, you know, we'll be sharing it and talking about it.
That's awesome. I love that you are opening it up to all employees and saying like you don't have to be a committee member of the engagement or core team, but if you want to join one of these subcommittees, I think that's awesome, and you'll get a lot of support that way.
Yeah, I think that was really important, an important aspect of it, because, you know, being on a full committee can feel like a lot to people. But if there's a special interest someone has and they really are passionate about something that's really specific and want to help in that way, you know, it gives people another opportunity to be engaged.
The HR newsletter is rad, by the way. Side thing, and I appreciate that you have been like still emailing it out as opposed to just posting in UKG, which like, you know, I can log into, but I don't actually have to for anything because the legislators don't track time. That might not go. I don't know if maybe the like 3 other electeds also don't. I know most people do, but it's nice to have it as an email attachment. I have 2 questions and they could be for you, Sam, or others. One is about the required training for employees.
Yeah.
There was some, I think, casual discussion among legislators about like, why do we have to do it? Because can anyone really require anything of us other than the sexual harassment related training that comes from New York State? So I guess my question for you or Leon or anyone is, does, like, mandated or not, is it important for legislators also to do the same trainings that the other employees have to do?
Yeah.
And why or why not?
Yeah, so think based on, from what I understand about the definite, like, legislators are considered a kind of employee of the county. And through that definition, legislators should be taking the training as a mandated, just like everybody else. But also, the training is to keep us, not just because we have to do it, but because these topics are really important to our workplace safety. They cover things like, you know, the things we need to know if there's a compliance issue, or if, you know, there is a sexual harassment issue, or if there's, you know, an evacuation that happens, what do we do? And those things, even though we hear about them at the beginning of our employment, you know, we're all, you know, the refreshers are really good to have, because if we don't have one of those situations happen for 5 years, right? And then all of a sudden something happens, we're kind of like, oh wait, what do we do? What do we do? These keep us prepared and ready and kind of all on the same page about what's expected around these topics.
Go for it.
Thank you, Almendinger. Very well said. Through an equity lens, now I came in the middle of the spring campaign. And so for me, through an equity lens, the majority of the legislatures have done the trainings. And so it would be inequitable for some of the legislators to do them and then some of them to not have to do them. Now, going forward, I don't know what that looks like. That's above my pay grade. And so I would just like there to be equity in all things. And so for the campaign that I'm talking about, which is the cybersecurity trainings, which is the one that we're trying to get to 100% right now, I feel, again, the majority of the legislatures have completed those trainings, and it would be very inequitable for some of them to have to do them and then for some of them not to have to do them. So that's just my only point.
Rachel O.
I'll make it quick. Sam, thank you for all the updates, and thank you, Leon, for weighing in. I think it makes sense for all the legislators to take the same trainings that all the other employees take. It makes sense that we would all be, that both we would be understanding the trainings that employees are taking, and they also all, some trainings might be more or less relevant to our job, but they all could potentially be relevant at some point. And it did seem like there were trainings in addition to the sexual harassment training that would be really good for legislators to take on an annual basis. So I support continuing to do that.
Iris?
Yes, as someone who did complete all the trainings with some reminders. But I don't think it got to your level, Leon. Okay. I agree. I think not only are we employees, right? Like, we're on the healthcare plan, we're on the retirement plan, we receive paychecks, like we have W-2s, like we are employees. Obviously we have a unique position, but to have us be sort of above the policy, I think is, as you said, sort of inequitable. I would say not so much across legislators, but between legislators and the rest of the staff. And then we also are in the position of having to review the work of certain staff. And I think it's important for us to understand what the policies and expectations are of those staff if we're going to be in a position of holding them to those. So I don't think that treating ourselves as sort of above the law, as it were, above the policy, creates the right kind of awareness, accountability. But I also realize that this body doesn't really have the authority to decide what the legislators do. That's going to have to be the legislators deciding this, you know, among each other. But I think there's consensus here, it sounds like.
Or through GO.
Who's the chair of GO?
Randy Brown.
Okay.
Randy.
Did he?
Yeah, I just want to add to, there was a lot of discussion in the last GO committee meeting about it, and Bridget brought all of those questions back to our annual training group. So we have a work group that puts together all of the content and decides, you know, which pieces are taken when. And so all of those questions we've been compiling answers to make sure that all of that information is very clear to everybody. And I also just created like a Q&A, not Q&A, but a FAQ document that I think we'll need to share every time we send out communication about a training, just because, you know, there's some confusion on, you know, how is it accessed? Can I speed up the videos? Can I slow them down? Can I start and stop? Those kind of questions, I think they're pretty commonly asked, and I think we can just put that information out there and it'll be helpful for everybody. But yeah, so our group is working on answering those questions, and we'll get that information to Bridget for the next GO meeting. We heard a lot about the training, and I've been involved in annual training, you know, throughout my whole time at the county, because I was a staff development coordinator at DSS, and there's a lot of training required for them. So as being part of that annual training group this whole time, we've heard a lot of feedback about, okay, this is a lot to do in 2 months at the end of the year, right? We've heard, okay, these modules are really long. We'd like, you know, these modules are the same, right, every year. And so what we've really done this year is try to make it in more short, digestible chunks and update the content where we can. And you'll see some videos are internal, county created. Thank you again to Chris Chichester for doing all of that, because you know, that's really improved, I think, the content and the relatability of it. And so we're really trying to, with having it be spring, summer, fall, you know, less than an hour. I think our spring campaign was 40 minutes. Our summer campaign, which is currently going on, focused on safety, is only about 55 minutes total, and they're broken down into like really small 5 to 10 minute modules, so you can start and stop. Our next campaign, unfortunately, will have to be a little bit longer. We'll probably be at an hour and a half, just because of the sexual harassment content requirements. But you know, we're trying to keep it fresh and engaging as much as we can.
Rachel, and then Leon, and then Chris.
Yeah, I would just ditto to everybody saying legislators are county employees. That's my opinion. Also, plug for, like, they're all important. We want 100% for all of them, but the cybersecurity one especially, like, we need 100% for that. These are the things that keep Lauren and Kim and Lillian up at night, because if you've talked to anyone from the counties that have had cybersecurity attacks, it's a big deal and it's bad, and we don't want that to happen here, and it is all of our responsibility to protect our county in that way. So it's really important that everybody is in compliance there.
Leon.
Really quick, I just wanted to make sure that we're, in all of this, that we're recognizing the humans who, again, who have completed the training campaign. I'm very grateful to that. I also want to just give a quick shout out to 2 department heads, Mr. Nick Ensign and Sheriff Osborne, for reaching out to me and saying, hey, such and such is going on. We need a little extra time to complete this training campaign and things of that nature. Communication is always the key, right? If you let us know what's going on, Samantha can go in on the back end of Know Before and archive some things or put some things on hold so that it doesn't affect the percentage in a way that, you know, is in a negative way. So if you are having some concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or Allmendinger, and we can figure some things out. But thank you to everyone who's completed the trainings.
Chris, were you next? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say it's been helpful, like with the trainings and breaking them down. Employers are very appreciative of it. It helps, not as much stress on even like a new employee or someone that comes up that they have to do this all at once. Even on myself, I would usually do them the week of Christmas because I had until the end of the year, and I would chip away at them. But it's good to just break it down, because like you get that fatigue of like watching them all, and I've done them like multiple times now. So it's just good to just have it broken down and you can comprehend it more. And yeah, thanks for the reminder, Leon, of finishing the training. Our department had done them all last time, and currently I'm one of the 4%. I don't know if the 4% was a real number, but I still have to do it. So actually I'm going to do it after this meeting. So I do appreciate the accountability. We embrace our vital role as public servants by pursuing excellence while holding ourselves to each other and the organization responsible for decisions that impact the community. So I just appreciate like everyone's like showing us too, like why this is so important. I think in the past we were kind of like, we understood that we had to do it, but it's guidance from Leon and Sam, like they kind of show employees like, this is why you're doing it. Cause like sometimes it's like, before it was just like, here's this random email, you have to do all these by X day. And I think it's been also helpful, just the education piece that everyone has been working on, just like the importance of it, and then why are you actually telling us? So it's good to know about the compliance piece too, because we saw that, I guess, with some legislators are wondering if we should do it or not. So the compliance piece is a huge piece that I think a vast majority of employees did not even realize was like a whole other thing behind the other end. So we do appreciate the open communication across and that's what I've heard too, across the workforce.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you. And shout out to, I think, Legislator Lee Shurtleff for keeping the values definitions available for anyone who sits at that desk.
Now the viewers thought I remembered that all, but I guess not, yeah. No, I have all the values here, there's 5. The stewardship was the one that you added earlier, so that's a good one. Do you mind if I read it? Because I don't think people really know.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we value our human, financial, and environmental resources and provide services in a manner that responsibly manage and preserve those resources into the future. So I actually have another thing to add.
Okay, yes.
So earlier,
I should say I'm now seeing that like legislators Christy Bianconi and Greg Mezzi also have a lot of I don't. I just have a big poster saying vote in solidarity. But anyway.
I usually wear the pin when I have a blazer. I'm wearing purple because this is the purple's color, but I usually wear a blazer and I have the county values pin. That pin only has 4 values. So are we going to make new pins with 5 values? And our diversity, equity, inclusion sign behind me that I don't know if the viewers can't see, that also has the 4 values. So do we need to redo those signs? Because that actually is technically not reflective of what our values actually are today.
These are good questions. Who makes the pins?
From what I understand about them, I think they were created as a campaign through county administration originally. And I don't know that we have any more of the 4 value ones, but I think it would be great to have 5 and hand them around, yeah.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I will inquire, but actually, yes, that's true. You are in county administration, unlike.
For the record, we were all looking. Yeah. For the record, we were all looking at Leon. Like everyone on this side of the house was like staring him down, and then he's like, "What?"
It's great, Mrs. Spahn. Yep, okay. I agree.
All right. Yeah. Could you bring that back to your department?
Indeed, we meet weekly for our leadership team meetings, and I bring up things in there that sometimes make it to different committees and things of that nature, and sometimes they're just in that room, but I will definitely bring that to them. Depending on what the cost is, it might be able to come out of the CETO budget. So that's something that should, I think, come out of the CETO budget, but yeah.
I had another maybe broader question that's harder to answer, but with budget season coming, or budget, depending on your role, budget season is well underway if you are like a department head or helping prepare a department budget. From the legislator's perspective, it's about to kick off in earnest with the county administrator presents his complete recommended budget for 2027 at the September 1st legislature meeting. I think legislators might get a preview of it a little before. There's not sometime in this week. I typically like that night or the next morning, the budget is in detail, just up on the website for the public to look at. And then we embark on, from the legislator perspective, again, the many presentations from department heads and agencies about their budget requests. We can ask them all these questions, we can make amendments and votes, and that is like the bulk of September and a bunch of October. One thing that gets, one of many things that gets questioned a lot is travel and training budget lines and how that should be structured and how important this is, and everyone's, and it's gonna look different in different departments and for different things. Like, for instance, some roles come with like required licensures that come with, you know, like expensive and specific and very not optional training things. Other roles, it's going to just take a totally different shape. Does anyone have thoughts on how you would like legislators to be thinking about the role of training and or travel as we, maybe not for any specific budget line necessarily, we haven't seen any of the budget lines, but how would you hope that legislators would be thinking about this as you're balancing it with, as we're balancing things with all the other costs and needs and whatnot? And that's a sort of abstract question, so feel free to reply later in the meeting or later in the week or month.
Yeah, I mean, I have some initial thoughts on it because, I mean, I'm involved in training and development all day, every day, right? That's just what I'm doing. And so in all the conversations I have had with departments, and especially last year when I was going around and doing the department tours, something big that I heard was the importance of being able to have funds available for job-specific training and conferences and things that keep people being able to stay up to date on innovative things going on, or being able to stay up to date on the current practices in their fields. And that is something that I think was spoken about across the board at every department that I talked to. And I put together a little bit of a summary of the discussions that I did, and I presented that at BCP last year. But one thing that I put in there was topics that came up and the things that we've kind of correlated in training and development countywide. But the thing that we can't necessarily do in HR as like a countywide thing is help people get to those field-specific trainings. And so those are what, you know, departments are really asking for with those travel training budgets, and they're really important. So, you know, I know sometimes we see them and it's all of a sudden, you know, oh, that's an easy thing to cut out. But those are, that's huge. That's a huge piece of not just, you know, professional development needs, compliance stuff, if we're thinking about that, right? We want to make sure that we're doing everything we need to be doing, keeping up on the best practices, but also morale, right? Keeping people engaged and being able to attend the things that really make them excel and continue to excel in their roles. So I just want to say that as my initial thought around that.
Thank you.
I would say.
Okay, seeing agreement and thumbs up from a couple other people sitting next to me. Yeah. I'll say I'm asking this as someone lucky to have literally a folder on my desk with paperwork for 2 different trainings I am traveling to, one being Facing Race, very valuable, applicable to everyone. Thank you, Leon, for facilitating this, and one being a much closer nearby New York State Association of Counties conference, which is field specific, arguably, for legislators.
Yep.
John.
Yeah, I just want to add as well something, especially if we're talking about traveling and training. I think everybody will recall that last year, I believe where we wound up was a 5% across the board reduction in travel and training funds as a cost saving measure in last year's budget. So the only other thing that I would like to call attention to is whatever it is going to look like in this year's budget, if travel and training again are an area that is being looked at for further cuts, what you are quickly going to see is continued reduction in available funding. And as you were mentioning, Veronica, many many of the trainings, at least in my department, are state mandated and they're unfunded. So we have to come up with that funding. The cost of the training continues to go up. So year over year, if you are continuing to cut in that pool of money, you're widening the gap for the availability of funding to just maintain core training. And I get concerned year over year as those numbers, if they are going to decrease and the cost of the training continues to increase, how are we going to fund that? So I just ask that that be borne in mind as the discussions unfold in September.
Thank you. Anything else on this either training and budget topic, or just more for Sam on the Employee Engagement Committee, possibly to have a new name soon report? Okay, seeing none. Thank you all for a robust discussion. Thank you for reporting back.
Yeah.
Onward, next on the agenda, briefly, our next upcoming proclamation is for Hispanic Heritage Month, which is from September 15th to October 15th, 14th, a month starting on September 15th every year. And so we are aiming to present that proclamation at the September 15th is a legislature meeting. I don't have a calendar in front of me. So included in your packet is just last year's proclamation. Does anyone have thoughts or comments on this or want to work on it in particular? We have already had the president of the Latino Civic Association reach out asking if we're going to be doing this year. And so that is great. And I think they'll be excited to receive it.
Do you think there's a lot of changes that need to be?
Probably not. Yeah, Rachel.
Would we want to share the proclamation with them, with the president of the Latino Civic Association, just to see if they had any input, if they're the ones that are going to be receiving it?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Anyone else particularly want to be engaged with this?
I can help.
No. Okay, thanks, Rachel. All right, fabulous. Okay, so that is that. And we already have LCA involved. And so, yeah, we can ask them for edits, changes, stuff. And I'm sure, and they usually have like events to tell us about too, which I think legislature has established. Those logistic announcements don't go in proclamations, but can be shared as part of the presentation of a proclamation. Okay, next up, about the 2026 Leslie McQueen Claiborne Strength and Diversity Award Working Group has not actually had its first meeting yet, but we will schedule one in September. Rob, I appointed you to this group in your absence. Are you okay with that?
I accept the appointment.
Thank you. Yes. All right. As well as me and Leon and Irene. And if anyone else is chomping at the bit to join us, you are welcome. Just let me know.
So are you going to send out a meeting?
Schedule, yes, yeah.
When is the award given?
In the past, we've given it on at least one of the December legislature meetings. I don't know. Do you remember which one we did last year? Was it the very last one?
It was the second to last.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Right, me too. I think it was meaningful for the 2 recipients last year. And we don't have to have 2 recipients every year. That ended up, that made sense to the review committee members, which was a few people from WDIC and Leslyn herself. The to-date only award recipient, but now we've had 3, which is great. All right, on then to committee members' reports. Does anyone have anything? I know Iris has something. Go for it.
Okay. Just wanted to give an update on the county living wage or minimum wage study, which has a final presentation coming this Thursday. So the county commissioned a group from Cornell to do research and present expertise around the current minimum wage and what raising it might look like in the county. There were 8 different convenings, 6 different focus groups that met. And so they'll be presenting the results of the study for the public this Thursday at the library from 6 till 7:30. It's hybrid, so if you want to Zoom in, that's another option. There will be some light refreshments and childcare optional. If you want to attend and you need childcare, I do recommend you fill out you actually register for it. It's free, but that way they know that there's a need. And so that should be great. There's going to be a presentation and then a Q&A so people can kind of dig into specific questions. We, some of us in the legislature and on staff were able to see the preview of the report, so I was able to kind of read through that. I can give you real top-line summaries of the findings there. But essentially, costs are really prohibitive in the county for people to live on the basic minimum wage as it stands. 60% of renters in the county are considered housing cost burdened. So housing is definitely the major issue here. So that means they spend more than 30% of their income on housing, and 36% of renters are severely cost burdened, which means they spend more than half of their income, the household income, on housing. This is disproportionately impacts people of color. 67% of Black workers are housing burdened. 58.5% of Hispanic workers also earn less than what is the living wage, as opposed to 48.6% of white workers. So it is not, equally distributed across different racial ethnic groups. And so there was a lot of feedback that raising the wage, we don't have a target number, but raising it in some way would make a real impact for workers who are currently the very bottom level of earnings. And there's a helpful chart, I'm just gonna try to pull it up, around what different, how many workers would be impacted by raising the wage at different dollar amounts. So even raising the minimum wage to $17 an hour, which is just $1 more than it currently is, would affect 14,000 workers in the county. And then, that's amazing, right? That's Chris's face. And then as you go up to say $20 an hour, that's almost 18,000 workers. And as you go all the way up to the living wage, which is $25.08, that's 23,725 workers, which for reference, our county is about 100,000 people. So that's a lot of the workers. I don't actually know what percent that is of the workforce, but given that a little over 100,000 people live here and many of them are children, I would assume that's more than 23% of the workforce. So anyway, there's a range, and there was a lot of discussion around what would the impacts look like for employers and for employment. And the researchers did bring in some experts like economists who can kind of run models, but then also look at examples of other cities that have raised their minimum wages above their state wage. And the study gets into kind of what those impacts look like. So like a 10% increase in wage translated to, I'm not gonna get the numbers exactly right, but like 0.5% to 1.5% decrease in employment, if at all. And that depends on the type of industry as well. So essentially, the benefits outweigh the costs. On the flip side of that, especially in industries where, like the care economy, where an increase in wage basically has to be passed down to the consumers, there needs to be some way to offset that, because certainly if you increase the wage of low-income or low-wage childcare workers, for example, that increases the cost of childcare, which then impacts the often low-wage people who are seeking the childcare, and so then it has that sort of circular negative effect. So examples that were brought forward from some of the experts were making a change at the state level to make care workers eligible for Medicaid, so that the care economy employers don't have to actually pay for the healthcare benefits, and that would help offset the difference. So there's recommendations that the county, for example, could lobby the state to try to change state laws to make that more accessible. Also looking at more state aid to support families, for example, who need childcare, to kind of create vouchers to help offset that difference. Another interesting piece of testimony from The Economist showed that depending on the type of the employment, some of the sort of tradable or non-tradable, essentially, type of work, when it can't really leave, right, when it's like a service sector based job, they're not actually going to cut employment, because people still need to, go to the grocery store, receive services in that kind of way, versus something that could be shipped out, right? Like you can't put the grocery store in another county. People are still going to come here to shop. And a large part of Tompkins County's industries are those service-based. So it was very interesting. Also of note, the employers were more heavily represented in who attended the convenings. So then the study group, they had to kind of work hard to canvass workers and try to make spaces where workers felt comfortable sharing their concerns, because I think people were uncomfortable with speaking up. I know I anecdotally spoke with, there was only like 2, I think, low-wage workers who came to the initial convening, and many employers, and the employers were speaking out pretty vociferously, and the low-wage workers were not, and I was able to kind of grab one after and kind of talk with them a little bit, and they were like, yeah, I was kind of afraid to say anything in this forum. So that data sort of from them comes from more like one-on-one interviews and then the larger research. So I think those are kind of the main highlights. Then there will be a presentation to Housing Economic Development Committee, which is on September 2nd. And then there'll be a presentation to the full legislature on September 15th of these findings. So that is also going to be important. I'm on HED, so I will also be there to kind of guide that. But I do encourage folks who are interested to attend Thursday's presentation, or virtually or in person, at 6 p.m. at the library.
Just a quick question. Would we have to, is raising the minimum wage something that we have authority to do locally, or does that also take state legislation to do?
That's a good question.
We have the authority to pass the legislation here, but then it would require a home rule grant by the state of New York to allow it to go through.
There's currently pending legislation or pending lawsuit coming out of New York City, where there's a higher minimum wage for fast food workers and food delivery workers that's being challenged, and that decision will probably come out early next year. So Maury is also watching to see what that looks like, but certainly we could move forward. But that'll be early next year, he thinks, so we should have some good sense of that.
Great, thanks.
Even without, I think, a home rule grant is the question there.
Thank you, Iris. Any other questions for Iris? And I will be at Thursday's presentation, so come join me. And Leon will, yeah. All right. Other committee member reports. Chris.
Thanks for that report, Iris. That was really good. A lot of good data. I'll have to go back and watch the YouTube, but appreciate all the work you're putting towards that and time to get that like clearly communicate to the community because it's a lot going on and it's a lot just to keep track of. So I'm going to share my screen. So Jordan does such a great job. I joined this link and I'm already a panelist now. So please bear with me while I figure this out. We do have some time.
Be ready.
Yeah. Can the viewers at home see Tompkins-opportunity.org for the share?
Yes.
You do? Okay, great. So Tompkins County Workforce Development was part of a working group around the SNAP ABOD work requirements that are going on. So able-bodied adults without dependents. So the federal government, the big beautiful bill, had wanted people who are able-bodied and on benefits to get to work, meet certain hours requirements regarding that, volunteer or work in one way or another, or job search. So there's a website called Tompkins-opportunity.org. So if you go to it, there's exemption status, so you can click it and see if you're exempt from this if you are receiving these benefits. So it's a great way for you to see, like, do I meet these requirements? Do I have to do something? If you're like pregnant or something, you meet those requirements. But there's a lot of different questions to ask. So we won't go through that whole entire thing. I'm just going to exit out. But on this website, there's ways to find volunteering opportunities, job opportunities. If your organization, you can even post volunteer opportunities for people to meet those requirements. So Brittany Earle, our fearless DSS commissioner, and Cindy Wilcox from the Human Service Coalition has been doing a lot of great work around this, and so have a lot of other partners. But today, there's also going to be, you can find it on the county's Facebook page. There's some videos that go to this that explain the process. So Jeremiah Craig from Jeremiah Craig Media put together 3 different videos around everyone's feedback and everything like that. So you can find more information on the county's Facebook page. I believe that was the place you can go to. I'm assuming it's going to be on the website too. And then here are some of the forms that you may have received in the mail from DSS. But really quick, you can go to find employment, so browse jobs or employment resources. So we'll click employment resources, and you can see Tompkins Workforce New York Career Center, so that's us. For the community, you can find different stuff we offer, our phone number, our email. You can visit our website. There's a green button there. And then below that, we also listed partners that are out and about. It's by no means comprehensive, but this is a lot of the different workforce programs that are out there that we collaborate with folks. So that's also here for people to access. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So there's that one important piece that we developed for the community. Very important that we get the word out and share this information. And then there's also going to be the Medicaid task force. There's going to be some requirements around that. So we are going to be meeting September 2nd around that. So this is one of the many different things our department does. So depending on the situation, we try to insert ourselves. So we view ourselves as a human service department, which we are because we are run like a nonprofit. We have our career center. So we're trying to support DSS, other programs that we have, probation, so they're not cycling through the whole entire system. Like, we view ourselves as like, hey, you get a job, you're self-sustaining, you can get your family on the right track. So that's like, when you're trying to imagine like, what the heck do we do? Like, that's what we do. Like, we're trying to convene partners, put them together, but also be that final piece, that collaborator with someone to get them on the right track. So they're not just going through the system, and they're not going through a carousel of just hopelessness. So that's really the job of the county, and we're grateful to be part of this group and working with people. So I'll give more updates in the future on the Medicaid task force, because that's going to be a similar model to people having to work, ages like 18 to 64 or something like that. So it's a big span. That's our neighbors, our families. So we need to make sure we are on that. So that group is going to meet in September to strategize and brainstorm. And I'm sure there's going to be a website or something like that in the future around that. So I just thought that was an important update for everyone to know.
Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you for showing the website too, so we can see how it looks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know I at some point did, I personally don't receive SNAP, but I wanted to see what the are you exempt thing looked like. And it is easy to use. I clicked through it, just asks one question at a time about could be are you pregnant, or are you over whatever age? You don't actually have to put in identifying personal information, and then one question at a time you go through until it'll tell you you're exempt, or maybe like you may not be exempt and here's the next resource to go to work things out. Leon.
Job well done, Mrs. Spahn. I'm gonna go into the website and I'm gonna mess around in there and see what's going on. And I don't really have a question for you, but I did want to say something before we ran out of time, because I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to Mr. Jamie Arnold, the countywide security manager, and the entire safety team. Not just the humans who I interact with on a daily basis, like Mr. Dean and Shalene and Mr. 2601 and Maurice, but to the entire safety team. I'm not sure if all of the humans at the county recognize how much they do, not just keeping us safe. Just amazing. And so I just want to make sure that that humans recognize that leadership is modeled. And so that has to come from Mr. Steitley. It has to come from Mr. Arnold, and the love and respect and just everything that they show on a daily basis means so much, and I'm just grateful that they are a part of the county. So thank you, Mr. Arnold, and the entire safety team.
Thank you, Leon, and hear to that. Any other committee member reports?
I'll just sort of blend in some of my day job life since it's pertinent and it piggybacks off of what Chris was talking about there. Here at Cooperative Extension, our social care team has been in on the SNAP work requirements and food nutrition aid thing for a while. We've also been very much driving on looking into resources and benefits for folks on the Medicaid work requirements in particular, especially seeing as we've been pioneering with the Medicaid 1115 waiver, which rather than contracting Medicaid services has looked at has been practical application of wraparound social care services for Medicaid subscribers. For example, somebody with a chronic illness is not keeping their medical appointments for regular preventive care. An evaluation determines that it's transportation that's a problem. We can help connect people to that transportation through care navigation, so on and so forth. And the reality of the work requirements piece is very much coming up on us January 1st, and we're looking to provide networking opportunities for, one, whether or not folks are exempted, but also opportunities for various ways in which those could be filled. And related to that, we are trying to work with New York State, which has extended its open comment period very soon to finish on the 1115 waiver for wraparound services. So keep an eye out on that, because the past couple of years with it rolling out has been really effective and had a lot of great positive opportunities in general for folks in our county. But I know that our team that's been working in day reporting with embedded staff there has been able to do quite a bit for justice-involved persons in particular. And I think that one of the things that this committee should be looking at related to that is social benefit resources for the justice involved as we continue to move forward. It's something that we've dipped our toes into, stepped back from a bit, but I think some of these social supports that help ensure people have resources for living healthier lives and reestablishing connections is a major priority for this group. But that's what I had.
Thank you, Rob. This makes me think of, and this is just an anecdote, but my first year on the ledge, I went on a ride along with one of the, with the sheriff's office, and not a ton happened that day, but we did go to one call for, I think the call came in probably as like a domestic incident with someone wielding a knife. And by the time we got there, I think things, well, they didn't let me go in the house because, you know, potentially dangerous. But by the time things had calmed down, and it ended up that the person who had been brandishing the weapon had been threatening themselves, and they were like calmer when we got there. The sheriff's employee, I think it was a sergeant that I was with, had like brought that guy out, and the guy was like voluntarily coming to like go up to the hospital to get evaluated, and he shared that he had previously been taking psychiatric meds that like stabilized him and avoided such incidents, but he hadn't been taking them recently because he ran out of the prescription and wasn't able to get more because he had missed a required appointment, and he missed the appointment because like a close friend of his was having a different crisis and he was helping them. And it's like that specific thing doesn't happen to everyone, but that shape of things where you have like one too many things pile up and you miss one thing, and then stuff like maybe difficulties and conditions that are managed can then go spiraling is so common and so easy to happen.
Yeah, and it's also, we've had a lot of references to the fact that we're entering the joy that is budget season again. As if it ever stopped. I don't think it does. But looking at our public funds, the incredible cost savings from wraparound preventive measures and culturally inclusive accessibility measures cannot be understated. The cost to the community for the lack of treatment of chronic circumstances that could be better treated with these wraparound help with assistance getting transportation or prescription connects and so forth. It's gigantic. Continuing to invest our attention and effort into these things is also a public funding issue.
100%. Thank you. Anyone else? I have a question for folks. In our last few minutes, we have 3 more WDIC meetings this year. And I'm curious what things, and we've heard some of this here today of like what you want to come back to focus on and revisit. Are there other things that you want to make sure, like, we may have dropped this and get back to? 2 things that I think of are the reviewing protected classes in the county. We will come back to that. I know one thing that came up at the beginning of the year as a potential priority was looking at considering the possibility of the county having some sort of living wage policy, or just looking at, are we paying living wages to our employees? And we haven't touched that yet. And now it's budget season, so maybe that's the wrong time or the right time, I don't know. But I would love to revisit that in a way that doesn't inappropriately ruffle feathers. I mean, a little feather ruffling is okay. But what's on your all's minds, if anything, in this moment? Rachel.
Just to build off that, and I don't have a complete thought around this, but something that I think is interesting that Larry has shared in the past is that 39% of county employees don't live within the county, and I think it's interesting on a bunch of different levels. One is that there's a lot of county employees that are providing services that they don't then have the ability to receive. But I think it's just an interesting thing to also keep in mind when we are talking about any of these issues. Like, I think it does make a difference to think about how we're supporting employees who are working here and not living here, and what does it mean also to be, also on the other hand, like increasing the budget and like paying more for services that then, or paying more into the budget when those costs are not necessarily borne by many of the people who are receiving the benefits through their work, but maybe are not receiving the associated tax implications. Again, this isn't really to have any particular statement on other than that. I think it's an interesting thing to continue to think about.
No, thank you for bringing that up. Other Rachel and then Chris.
I would be interested, and this might be part of the budget process too, but in hearing more about the peer support when we had Danielle and Samantha come and talk to us. I won't probably be able to watch all of those exciting budget hearings, so I would love an update on what happens with the budget with that in particular.
Thank you. So do I, and I'm hoping we'll see that in a budget line when we see it next week. Chris.
Hi again. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on the whole process. So that made me thinking too, I guess, like, what do we prioritize as a county? Paying people a certain wage, or what is it? I guess I would rather pay people more than have a 50 million plus center of government building. I think that matters more, like actually having people that want to stay here. I say 50 million because that's like, it's actually way more than that with inflation and things like that. But I don't know. I just feel like, what are we really prioritizing as a county? And I'm not saying this is like the representative workforce, or really, it's just a thought I hear in the community and from the workforce itself. I think that's my job, being on this committee. These are just thoughts that are genuinely out there, and I think it's important to be known. So I just, yeah, like, I appreciate your like thought process of thinking through these things, because then it just made me think of other stuff. So that was a good viewpoint too. I hadn't really just thought of also that you just explained. So thanks.
Thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else, either in response to my question or other things? Then I think we have come to the end. So, there being no further business before this advisory committee, this meeting is adjourned.